Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 8 of Chola, which we're just fresh off. If you've seen that previous episode before this one, I mean, if you haven't already, by God, you better watch it. It's the Chola Rashtrakuta War of the Free Captives. That's what happened on the previous episode, in which it was probably one of the most dramatic wars I've ever been part of in the history of any playthrough. I mean, Bosnia, Ragusa, and Syria that I played over the most of the year. It's like, yeah, I've been to many different types of wars and whatnot. But a Free Captives War, which is the third time I've done that in the history of me playing Crusader Kings. But this one was between us, Chola, against Rashtrakuta, which that Maharaja over there is our nephew. See, it says your nephew. Even though he has, you know, he has been scarred from that war, which was done by my brother who dueled him. I am Vikramâtittâ. My brother, Periyapillai the Wise, he was the one that started all of this. He actually declared war. What began from that previous episode, which I'll bring it up to speed again. What happened is this character, his wife, that's her, Kundaka Devi, who's still in Vingapura, which is the area where that Thakur named Durgasima lives. Not the current Durgasima, but this man, in which well, I killed him. Killed him last year in a duel. It was a antagonizing, duel. Yeah, he was the man that stole my wife. But, however, they were lovers. Having this many children being shocked to his, one would think, can't say I blame him. Well, I got nothing against the 12-year-old son here. But inside of the court still lives two women. My wife and this girl who, well, not a girl, but a grown-ass woman who's from the Kalinga Ganga, which is, next door with Kalinga Ganga, which there were, like, we had considered making an alliance. I mean, we have a non-aggression pact with them, but he doesn't want to form an alliance yet due to political concerns, which I think for now, the Kalingas will be useful to us, especially in future conflicts against the larger Rashtrakuta kingdom, even though they have been weakened by internal wars and that last war with them, and they have no money. It was a free captives war, which we did not take the wife back. That wasn't the target. It was my sister that we had to free. She was also imprisoned. She was imprisoned by that same man, so we got her back. But she wasn't the only one we brought back. This is where it gets, again, for those who haven't watched the episode, which I encourage you to do, but I'll still tell it anyway. One of the commanders of the Rashtrakuta kingdom was my father, Parantaka the Pious, the founder and former Maharaja of Tamilakam, or Maharaja of the Chola Kingdom. Yes, this man is 72 years old, but he was 68 by the time when hostilities began. Although he had already been commander for about past couple of years. But the reason for that is why he made him commander is because of his high martial skill. He used to have a brave trait, but apparently it went away during the war, which is the one thing I failed to address on the previous episode of why his combat skill went down. Which, him being virtuous, I can understand. And one-handed and old, but well, he's 70, so the older you get, the less combat skill you have. But at least he's not infirm. And mind you, it was my father who was the one that I suggested to marry my wife, which, mind you, she was born attractive and has the groom trait to make her the most beautiful woman in India, or the most desirable woman in India. But, again, one would think, is it my father's fault for me marrying this woman who I bared two children? That's, again, part of, that I raised these children, and then she was later stolen by a certain someone, and then she fell in love with, and when I killed him, she doesn't seem all that devastated towards me. She didn't hate me for that. So, I mean, after all, she's a Jain. She's content. So again, my father made me marry this woman because it was a decision made by a coin toss. It could have been Periyapillai, but it went to me. So that's one of the origins of leading up to that conflict. And then when he became a Jain ascetic, or a Muni, which is Jain monk, he lives a life in asceticism, which he still lives that life today. As you can see, he's here back home now. And he lived there to live with his nephew. He was not only their commander, but also their legal tutor, because of his extremely high diplomacy skill. Which at least he has a sense for diplomacy and the rule of law. But this war of three captives, which again, it ranged from there to there. That's how much that conflict, spanned just only areas of Tamilakam and Andhra Pradesh, which I'm referring to that area is the modern state in India today. And that wasn't the only war my father was part of. He's been in the wars and been to other places such as Malwa, Gondwana, even as far up as Bihar. And I think he may have gone up to Delhi as well. So you could say, if my father had a sense of humor in all of this, he would describe his experience as a commander as, at least he went on a tour through other places of India as a Jain Archaya. Which, don't forget, he's Archaya, which means he's the highest ranking member of his Jain monastic society, the Sravaka Sangha, which means Jains revere him. 30 plus opinion towards him. 15 plus opinion for Hindus and Buddhists. So Buddhists and Hindus respect Parantaka. You could say whenever he's marching with troops, and then if people were to recognize him, or if he's going across Jain lands, Hindu lands, Buddhist, they would recognize his name, and they just say, it's the Archer, he's the most, beloved and respected man in all of India. But he was never harmed. He never got into any fight. I mean, look at his modifiers. No duel experience. But that one-handed thing, that happened when he was Maharaja, when there was a little peasant revolt in a castle, which he picked up a sword, but he lost his hand for it, which one would think, well, there was a bit of temptation to try to break ahimsa, non-violence, but it never happened. So therefore, he remains committed to this great vow of ahimsa. But that kill thing, that happened when he died in the dungeon, because he was severely injured, and the health couldn't take it. The dungeon conditions, which he was only there for about 2 days in the dungeon, like just when we were about to ransom him, and then he died. But now, Periyapillai, my half-brother, he died in this war, during the war, but it wasn't war-related, but he got severely injured and an infection when he fought Durga Simha the Elder, as in referencing the past Thakur, not the current Thakur over there. The one who had my wife as a concubine. So these two fought each other in the duel, which was through antagonizing. He bested him despite the fact he was born strong and had quite a combat skill. But he didn't die due to the infection. Instead, he was murdered. He was assassinated by the orders of Sravata Sanhat, which it was this woman, which she's a known murderer. She is the one behind all the assassination of Periyapillai. And this had nothing to do with the war. And judging by, the polymath and Indian philosophy, I think I assume that she was in the Chinese academy where Periyapillai was educating in, but he never graduated. He dropped out. So these two became rivals at some point in their lives. So that's why she ordered an assassination on him. And during that war, there was some extortion policies that happened. I mean, as you can see, that revolt risk, thieves guild smuggler's ring. Well, actually, that's his fault. It was down in Madurai. Yes, in Madurai there was triple taxation, and in Derasaga Nagapatnam, church assets were plundered. I think it was one of the temples that had the assets plundered because of the extortion policies. Because there were twice during his reign where he ran out of money. We were having negative money, in debt. And so he had to, extort him. He even had to steal it from a friend of my father's, in which he still has a few friends alive, including my mother, and near Granta over there. And yeah, he still has friends. Some of which are probably friends of the Sraga Sangha, yes. Yeah. And due to that, one of those pujaris, that man, this pujari here, he's the co-conspirator for the murder of Periyapillai. And as a result, my father has two rivals, and it's those two who are the ones that killed my brother, also his son. I mean, on the end of the previous episode, after the war was over, when we brought my sister and my father back, which, by the way, we captured my father during a battle, actually during the final battle of that war. He was never harmed during the entire war, but we captured him, which we can assume him being a Jain ascetic, he would say he has no weapon. And him being one-handed, the only thing he would be carrying is that big brush made out of ostrich feathers that Jain monks and nuns use to brush off any tiny little insect in their way so they won't be injured or, heaven forbid, you step on it. Non-violence. Anyways, I've been swaying this woman, in which she has the flu, in which we become a bit of a good company and made her soften. We have a few things in common. We're both cynical and gregarious. And she's coming in. She's going to be coming soon. And once she comes in, we'll have her arrested. But speaking of arrest, 70% chance that we may arrest the Pujari, who is the co-conspirator in all this. He's greedy, envious, and stubborn, and Shaktiist. Again, let me take a drink. We'll get my wife back soon, but first, Pujari Kalecha Karan, you are under arrest for the conspiracy to murder Maharaja Periyapillai the Wise of the Chola Kingdom. My guards failed to capture the Pujari, who has now raised his flag in rebellion. Very well. Have that besieged immediately. Just get him. No need for me to be part of that. You know what to do. It won't take long to capture this area. Oh, and one more thing. About my father, now that he's, back in the court. Since you were a legal tutor, I should, I should make you a new legal tutor. You know, at least you'll get to do something. I mean, after all, you got very good prestige, and you still got your purity. And you make little money. How much money does... Woo! That's a good monthly salary. I didn't know you make that much money as a legal tutor. And I'm sure he probably made a good few gold as a commander. How much money do commanders make? Monthly salary 0.15. Not very much during his service for the Rashtrakuta Kingdom. But I will not make him a commander in any way, shape, or form. Even if the game forces me to on the auto-assign commander spot. And in addition, since he has good learning skill, despite the fact there are better people with learning skill, that I would like to make him a court physician, since apparently he knows how to cure the cough and his vomiting during his time of service. Now he's legal tutor and a court physician. Once I arrested these people all and put them away in a dungeon, I will convert to Jainism. Not as a Dingambara, but as Svetambara. I'm going to go the other path. So as we will bring this man to justice, then and this woman who's behind all of this will come to court, and we'll have her arrested too. You could speed up the siege process, which not very much. How about you? I think you could take it from here, unless you wanna, you know, travel 2 spaces and head to Tagadur to get, what's the name of that temple? Periyapillai. To the glorious Maharaja Vikramâtittâ, blessings upon you and your house. I accept your gracious invitation to join your court forthwith. It's like, yeah, you may have the flu, but it's like, yes, we have a few things in common. We had a conversation. Matter of fact, how I got her to join the court was this last little action of swaying, which it says, I want to know how's your health. In which she's like, oh no, I'm doing alright. You know, she has the flu and whatnot, not that big of a deal. And apparently she wants to get married. Again, she came from Jharkhand. Jharkhand. That's where she was residing in. But now we brought her here in Chola Mandalam, at the castle of Tanjavur, where we live. So I guess alright, pleased to meet you. Not a member of any society, even though my opinion towards her is she's dishonorable and murdered close kin, my half-brother. And I know she has a flu, but most importantly, she's a murderer. So it's like, Swata Summit. And so we tricked her into coming here. 82%. You're under arrest for the murder of Periyapillai of Chola Kingdom. We got her. Remember, if we were thinking about how laws should work, I mean, not his law, I mean, Jain law is different from our Hindu law. For those who kill world leaders, kings, queens, Maharajas, whatnot, sultans and whatnot, naturally, like if this was real life, they would have to be sentenced to death. Since she's got no money, we can't banish her. Well, what say you? Since I have a valid reason, no one would care. It will cost me a bit of karma. As I said, she'll be awarded with a death sentence for the murder of my half-brother who was the Maharaja. Whew! I know what that noise was. I can only hope she remembered me fondly in her last moments. Telling her, oh, how's your health and whatnot. But she got beheaded. Just based on that sound you heard of that beheading, it was by guillotine. So we arrested her immediately, and we had to, immediately put a death sentence, and dead. You're next. Forgive me, Father, for what I just did. And I'm sorry about I disrespected the dynasty, which happened during when I was running Charanadu. I'd like to improve relations a little with the Kalingas. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yes, my nephews didn't like me much by saying it defeated me, but we're fellow members of the Wheel of Life and Death, which reminds me. Look, here's the purpose for this character. My son, Parantaka, soon to be Parantaka II, he will be raised as a great warrior. I mean, he's a squire currently, and I'm trying to make him hopefully become an accomplished squire by the end of when he turns 16. And then after he becomes accomplished squire, I will leave the Fighters Guild. I have no intentions of becoming a champion with this character. He, Parantaka, will one day, and I can guarantee you, which I don't like when I say guarantees because promises can be broken. He will be a champion one day, not I. My purpose for this life is just increase my combat skill a little to defend myself and to raise my son to be an accomplished squire. Now, today, I was struck with nervous excitement when Master Kotan was announced that the set of armor was near its completion. Today, I received the Master in my throne room. As he unveils the armor rack, I find it almost impossible to breathe. What would you name her, my Maharaja? That's the level Tier 3 armor. It's the best one. Then I can replace my old chainmail armor. This armor shall be my guardian. Put this on. This strong, sturdy set of armor offers unmatched protection in combat. It is truly it truly is a guardian of those encases it. Plus 10 combat skill in plus 10 for trident. So yeah, definitely helps. Just storm it already. We need to get rid of him. And if we lose 93 in the process of those temple guards, these Mandir guards, when we stormed the place. See? You can see the casualties of that siege. And the initial defenders who took the place. You are coming to prison. Since you got good money, which I'm sure you probably got some of that money when that woman that we executed paid you to kill my brother. And since you rebelled against me, you will not be awarded the death sentence, but instead, give me that title, and then I will have you banished, because that is good money. In which he will be fleeing to the Maldives as I banish him. No, he's already aligned himself with Maldives. I was about to say, well, shoot, I guess we can't get rid of him now, can we? Can't banish him either. And order him to take the vows, it would take a long time for him to get rid of his sins, but... Or should I just say, just kill him. Even though he's a Brahmin. Because in real life, only Brahmins are allowed to make census for other Brahmins. Not Kshatriyas. But this being Crusader Kings, they do things a little differently. I'm not going to inherit his money. I don't think my son will. My son? What? Vassal. Thinking about too much about my children. This is the last time I'm executing anybody in that way. In which he was hanged. That's the last time I'm ever conducting that act of violence personally. Because now, it's time for me to convert to Jainism. And this is a political move, not a personal thing. personal thing will come later. I will lose a 500 prestige, but I will gain some karma. Or purity, because I need some of that back. Okay, once again, Jainism is a religion with strong traditions divided into two main branches, the Dingambara and the Svetambara. As I convert, I must choose one of them. My father is a Dingambara, which is a healthier lifestyle, but I'm choosing this different path, even though you'll see none of that in Tamil Nadu, and I will be the Svetambara, the white-clad, which are those that wear white, and plus 5 opinion on the vassals. I just want my vassals, and many others, look highly on me, especially when I have a plus 15 opinion for the liege as a pacifist, because he's a Jain now. See? Increase the domain size. And I do not care if people still don't like me because I hold too many duchies. And it's going to be a little hard to please this girl because, look, I'm sorry about this. I will set aside these 2 concubines. I don't want any more children. I'm fine with what I have. And until 840, if everyone is happy, I will switch to primogeniture. Now let's place them with a Jain around the place. So, Father, what do you think of me now? I'm a proper Jain. Neutral, it says Legis Svetambara Jain, but him being of a different sect compared to me, well, yeah, that's a -5, so it's like, it's whatever. He still loves me anyhow. More so now that we're Jains. But he doesn't like me a little because differences between zealous and cynical, and honest and deceitful. I need to change that. When my son grows up, I will have to leave the Fighters Guild and join the Sravaka Sangha and get up to rank 2 and then abdicate so that my son can start his rule early in his life. Now to get her back. Which she still says no. Despite the conversion. Well, give it a moment. Maybe she'll change. Or I could say, screw it, you got money, get her. I would prefer swaying, but I'm already swaying someone else. I know what I'm going to do with her. And since I said I don't want any more children, I mean it. It's good enough. What's going on? The Abbasid Holy War for Savir. It's against us and... Oh yeah, we still have a non-aggression pact with Gujarat. We're about to have a non-aggression pact. What I mean is we still have relations. And this defeated army is dealing with peasant revolt. And they're going to have a defend Rajasthan from the advancing Abbasids. Parantaka is now paged, though. Off to a good start. Where is Parantaka? Not my father, but the son. He also be a cupbearer, just to further increase his prestige and get a little salary. The disease, consumption, it started there. My wife better come here before this disease comes here. Which, matter of fact, I know what to do with that money. But we're not high enough level for construction. But we can for military advances. Me being a cavalryman. I guess you're not the only one that came here. So you brought her, who is the daughter of Durga Simha. And she's going to be a half-sister of Parantaka, and all the other of those Kannada siblings of that dynasty. There's a reason why I brought you here. Remember, if it wasn't for her, you know, taken away and such, along with that sister, and we fought the war over those women, including herself. And since her first husband died in a rabble, Lord knows what happened. One would think, I think the beauty of her is maybe a curse. It's like if we keep her in a court right now, people are going to look at her and they're going to be desiring for her and they want to seduce her. I don't want that to happen again because of her attractiveness, but since she's kind, temperate, gregarious, and content, those are some virtues. Which it hurts me to say this, but I'm going to need to do the order to take the vows. She will become an Ayika, a Jain nun. Yeah, I will lose a bit of purity for this, which doesn't worry about it, as I'm still in a recovery state. She'll hate me a little for 20 years because cloistered her. So you turned 31 recently, but now you will spend the rest of your life as an ascetic, as an Ayika. I'm not telling you this as your husband, or soon to be ex, unless depending on when do relationships end. Not telling you to take your vows as a husband, but I'm ordering you as the Maharaja of the Chola Kingdom. So therefore, she now lives in the Darasa of Perur in Kongu County. She's an Ayika. This woman has taken her Mahabharata vows and lives a life in asceticism. I hope we'll meet again someday. It's like, but don't worry, I sent you a little money. You may need that for, I don't know, charity work or something. But as you can see, this is what a Shvetambara Jain nun looks like. She wears white and has this white cloth covering her mouth, which is to, in theory, protect your mouth from accidentally swallowing, any insects that may fly in your mouth. As well as not to have saliva drooled over when you're reading scriptures, Jain scriptures in particular. So, I would say that move of making her a nun, just to make sure, I hope that no one will seduce her again. That will close the final chapter of this, this story. Or we don't know if that story's over. Like would this era end? Like, would the era end if my father dies, or I become an ascetic while Parantaka, who, as I will raise him, he will be Hindu. I will not turn him Jain, as long as I'm its guardian, when they give me that option. Oh, and as for her, yes, I will educate her. No need for that, Father. I got it covered. Oh yeah, do not forget about my half-brother, who's a Pujari. He originally ran Pandya Nadu and Tonai Nadu, then Periyapillai, the shepherd community in Kalakdai. Where is that at, honestly? Oh, there! That's why I couldn't find him. It's a tiny little county. Try run there. The shepherd community is finally done. I will periodically receive ducats or trade goods as long as I'm its lord. I need that money. Because more of that's going to be spent. The League won't see a single of my ducats. Antagonizing the Great Trade League will prevent me from joining it or hiring a trade master. As I said, I don't intend to join that society, as long as I'm its... Well! Good thing I caught that. Shut the gates. I can unantagonize it, which it requires, you know, spending money and whatnot. Shut the gates. Hope no one contracted that disease. I mean, you are a court physician, you are my father. You'll be alright. You'll know what to do. By the way, is it possible I can also make you... I can do that. But honestly, your place is to be teaching people more about the law and all the other that sort of thing. By the way, is there more shipyards? Because for future reference. Shipyard? No shipyard. There is a shipyard. Just for future reference. Yeah, and post-war. This is a post-war era we're living in now. After we made those arrests of the conspirators, as we executed both of them. So now we're faced with this sort of thing. I am already deceitful. No need for that. Yeah. 2 women from the Sangha live there. Including herself. I was about to say, I suggest you shut those gates. So now I'm a trained fighter. Who's this? What has he ever done? Is he plotting? Is he backing a plot? Good God. Why would you do that? Let me send you some money. Drop the plot. Look, we brought back my sister and they want to kill her? Unless I gotta tell these other guys to stop backing the plot. If not, then we'll arrest these guys. And this thing of why we're wondering is like, why this arrest? And apparently I'm backing a plot. Who's a murderous kinslayer. Ah, I understand. Right. Okay. If they found out that I become a murderer, then oh boy. No longer back. No longer back the plot, and what are you doing here? Died a mangled mess. Man. Hate to be that guy. But you come in at a bad time, half-sister. There's a disease here. We can't let you in because we already shut the gates. And I can't send her away as a concubine because, as much as the Emperor likes concubines, but... my father, my court physician, informs me that Maharaja Katarava is suffering from the current epidemic. He has consumption, but it's a mild one. Just help him any way you can. I'm not going to be the person that says, throw him out, get him out of here. Just be a good man, alright? Good man, he's a good father. He's not just a man, he's a Jain ascetic. I try to get a good night's sleep, but I'm tormented by horrible recurring nightmares of our people. The pleas for help and the hurtful words began to get me. I just want to survive this. That'll hurt, Marshal. This is what I mean. Post-war era we living in, and a disease has stricken Tamilakam. This is going to be happening for a long time. Now it's spreading up north. Probably going to go along the coast and maybe into Vikramâtitâ. Oh, by the way, I can't sway him anymore since I'm in seclusion. Or, I don't know. It'll come up. Yes, we have a weak hospital structure, but what can you do? Oh, by the way, that's Sravaka's Sangha. Is my father the leader? No? But it's the Nagrantha from Gena. He's the leader of that society. Which I'm a bit surprised. I mean, there's only 3 archayas, and Parantaka is, one of the archayas, but not the leader. Well, it's mainly because he's a priest, and Parantaka is not. There's only 12 members, no brahmacharis. So, anyways. Well, this thing continues. Huh. My cynical comments have made people look at things my way. I created more cynics. No way they can keep up with me. And I became fat. Maybe it's due to my cynical talks, but I need a... God dang it! Can't get into shape. Can't get rid of the fat trait just yet. At least I'm not morally obese or something. Yeah, need some of that purity back. Just wondering, since there's this disease going on, don't know if you are safe from that, but I hope you don't get infected. I mean, I'm here with my father. As I've gone to seclusion with my court, my efforts to appease the Raja of the Kalinga, Ganga would have to be altered. If only we had pigeons. If only. My sister's my friend now. Glad we're close, because, remember, we rescued you. It's been a year since that war ended. Ambush. There is none. Yep, now the entire disease has engulfed here. And I think I may or may not have caught it, despite the fact I'm in seclusion. Or is it because of this sick man in court? Father, you're 73 years old. Not to mention we brought you back to this country. But Father says that he is confident that the symptom is not a serious illness, but it will pass quite soon. So I will receive some mild treatment. What is it? To relieve your pain, Parantaka lit 3 candles had to join hands with him. After a moment of silence, I repeated some words after him in a language I could not understand. I was about to say, Vikramâtitâ doesn't know Sanskrit like my father. Which, mind you, you speak Sanskrit when you're doing, Jain prayers or whatnot. I mean, he knows that stuff. He's a member of the Saraka Sangha, mind you. Huh. You're approached by, just let it slide. You are my sister. You just recently came back from the clutches, so that letter up there, but just live how you want to live. Minor depopulation. Consumption. Oh no. Father! Yes, I'm quite popular here, but it's consumption, Father. Please, help me. Just help me. Take care of my children, will you? He's never going to be an accomplished squire if I don't survive this. It's a small chance, not to mention I recently became fat, which I can't get into shape right now. My father and court physician, Parantaka the Pious, has come to see me and offers treatment of my illness. He explains that there are several different types of treatment he can offer. As long as you know what you're doing. If you botch this, then I will not take it out on you. You just done all you can. Alright? Help me! Parantaka has presented me with a charred carcass of a cat and prompted me to dig in. As I ate, he told me how he had chased that blunt feline around my holding stars. I felt that he wanted praise for his hard work, but the vile taste of the meal kept me silent. I actually feel better. Mind you, eating cats or animals is not the Jain way, but this is just one of the random text descriptions that you get in this game when you get a successful treatment. And this will definitely cancel out the health of consumption. But it could potentially kill me still if I do not get better from it. Consumption, also known as tuberculosis, is nothing to mess with. Expired. Hey, wait a minute. Who's designated region? Is it possible? Parantaka, you can also be the designated regent, because you used to rule this kingdom. You know the ins and outs of how this area works. And if I survive this, then I'll make you of that position, alright? If I survive this, just consider it as another promotion. Putting you designated regent, so that way, in case if I die, then you will raise my son. Mind you, not only there's a disease there, but there's also triple taxation, and there's a minor depopulation in the Madurai, which is rather unfortunate. Wish we were living in the Maldives, island paradise. The Khagan of Akun is now a target of the Western Protectorate. More for stewardship. Oh yeah, we never had this in a previous war because we didn't have time or money to do it. War elephant pens. This is where the fearsome war elephants are bred and trained. Yeah. We'll have war elephants and more so in the future. I was about to say, that's far off. I'll decline. Matter of fact, make that a mandate. What? I already betrothed, but that's for political reasons. You're not to be betrothed. So it can her, even though she's way younger. Oh, she's here with us. We'll try to raise her, but again, I chose to raise her ever since I made her mother a nun. I wanted to raise her personally because I feel guilty. Hope we don't get a depopulation here. That would hurt the economy a bit. Speaking of economy, why do we have this? We need to improve that trade post. And we do have a second one. Get that too. We need more income. Look, our economy is fine, but we could try to improve it better. My mother, who was 69 years old, has passed away in a natural death. Me and my sister are children. Guess she'll be here for now. Keep it up. Of course, this year was not the most productive for the butcheries, fishery, and Madurai. Because there's a disease there. Also, butchery and fishery in a Jain world, Jain realm. Well, somebody's got to eat meat. I mean, it ain't us, so it's got to be someone else. Which, mind you, Jains are vegetarians, not vegans. Half-brother, Pujari Chancellor, who's also stricken with consumption. What about my former wife? I mean, you're alright. She's alright too. Again, I want to keep tabs on her. And I can't invite her to court because I saw one of the requirements before I hit record it again, where the second part of the episode is. She's found her calling. She will never leave the temple. She chose to be there, and that's where she will remain. She could have lived here in Nagapattinam, you know, not far from Thanjavur. Oh yeah, I totally forgot you're overseeing construction, which you're building it fast, at least. Huh. May not be the most attractive woman I ever laid my eyes on. Well, I know who was. And she became a nun. But she is here. The whole situation is growing increasingly boring. Considering my options, it may not be a bad way to spend the time. No, I can manage without romance for now. I chose not to have any more children. Because my goal is raise my son, if I live long enough, to be an accomplished squire. And after that, I will leave the Fighters Guild, and then become well, first you have to join the Savaka Sangha, rank up to Brahmachari, then abdicate. So that way, my son can begin his rule, and he'll have many years in him. Not to mention many children. Because there's not much of us of the Chola dynasty left. When does it expire? January next year. Keep that well in mind. Father. Huh. He has finally passed on. On June 10th, 835, at the age of 75, Parantaka, the pious, the founder of the Kingdom of Tamilakam, in which he lived ever since during the reign of Rajasakara, the Shadow, who was an evil man. And after 75 years of living, and we know for a fact, based on his virtues and everything, as a Jain archer, he attained moksha, liberation of his soul. Yes, his body has passed, and his soul has gone up to the heavens with the Tirthanankaras. I'm glad he came back here and found peace. And he spent his final years, whoever he was tutoring for legalism, as well as treating family members and other people in the court from the consumption epidemic. And he gave me a good treatment, and which I can respect him for that. Not to mention he was respected by Jains throughout, particularly the Tamil Jains. And Hindus and Buddhists respect him wherever he went. Well, we can all say that India is blessed to have a man like Parantaka. India is blessed. We'll never forget you, Parantaka. And that's why I named the son after you. Even though his path will be more different than him, because kingly duties. Right. What could be the new court decision? I guess you. As for designated region, well, you get it back now. Somebody's got to take up the legal tutor. Well, double duty. Double your salary. I'll miss you, Father. You, Parantaka, the Jain archer and former Maharaja of Tamilakam, he was a witness that he has seen the best and worst in humanity. But at least he returned home in Banjavor. At least he returned somewhat in peace, because this epidemic that's going on. And at least he treated people. I mean, that's how he wanted to go out. He wanted to help others. I mean, he used to do charity in order to help them. Now he's helping others through sickness and health. But I'm glad he passed away in peace. But now my steward wants to talk about the old tunnels under the castle. Oh no. And you're also cut-stricken. What a splendid idea. What's going on? Revoke. Oh yeah, that's the dynasty of my ex-wives. Legion. Oh yeah. Catches up. So I'm strolling down the main hall. Looks concerned, order him to spin him up. The tunnels, my lord. Yeah, here we go again. Order for an ambush. Guards have captured someone in the tunnels. However, the person does not seem completely still. My guard's face is not showing usual bloodthirst when they present Periyapillai, a fox, a starved-looking and oddly jumpy person. 52. Such a Maharaja like me. What do you have to say? Talking about a lover in court. Where have I heard that story before? Think about what happened to Father when he was in that situation before. He let her join the court because out of kindness. But even if I were to believe this story, I think she's been exposed to disease. Look, people are getting it. Get out of here! So she's depressed, and I'm sure she'll get stricken by that disease too, and will die. I'm sorry, I mean, I could have been more kind. I mean, in fact, I am. It's just, I don't want to fall for that again. Think about what your father... He joined. Huh. Right. Yeah, there's deep population in Tagadur as well, in addition to Madurai and Tekasi, but nothing in Cholamandalam yet. No deep population here. Oh, there's also deep population in here. Okay. We got one more month, and this disease will be gone. And I'm about to have my treatment, because it's about to expire. And get into shape. I awake rejuvenated. After some moments of disbelief, I realize that my fever has passed and my appetite has returned. I have survived consumption. Oh, thank you, Father. See, if you were alive to be a witness. Yeah, I just want to thank my father one more time. You see, he has helped people. He has helped me. I'm cured. Open the gates. Overjoyed. Now get into shape. Get rid of that fat trait if I can. Finally back in shape. Right. Princess, nice Rajkumar. Go for intrigue. Let's try to build a war chest. But for heaven's sake, don't extort. Just raise your money. Don't spend on anything at all. Unless an event pops up where I have to spend on something. Don't follow the path of your brother. Follow the path of your father. Oh, she's consumption stricken. And they haven't gave her a treatment. Which again, this is why I cannot get her back. It says, found my calling. But again, I've seen miracles that can happen where... Who knows? She dies, then... And I'm quite possibly, well... This other woman. Oh, she's still there. Yeah. I was about to say, she's about to outlive all of us, the noted individuals who fought in that war. Oh, and he got it too. Blast disease. Anyways, just continue on training. As much as I'm training my son to be a great squire. And hopefully be a great warrior one day. Remember, keep raising money. Don't spend on anything. Wait until you get 700 gold and the war chest ambition is complete. Keep that well in mind. Okay, proving the combat skill. Son, 12 years old. I know they tend to lead you to stewardship, but since I'm making you this way, I'm gonna give you a martial education. As I am of that education. Do not worry. Under my tutelage, you will be a good warrior. Even though you only picked up one childhood trait, which you may become diligent or temperate, which I'm okay with. Ooh, yeah, a lot of money, a lot of good income. Mostly due to the improvements of the silk trade posts. I was about to say, why am I still having a war focus? Since you talk about money and being money intensive these days. Wait a minute. I was thinking, you know about that thing she has going with me? Oh, and she became ambitious. I gotta get rid of her sooner rather than later if I need to change that law to primogeniture once it's 840. But anyways, I shall switch to, as I said before, talking money these days. Should go for business. Hopefully finally do that little business-related events. Kalinga. We need to get together. You are making them tributary states. Whatever helps you with money. Shield bearer. Keep it up. My sister has offered to travel to the Zhao Empire on a mission to bring glory to the Chola Kingdom. Please, my lord, says, let a humble servant strive to relation to the Emperor of the Zhao Empire. You are having bad nights. Maybe you'll start having good nights. Go with my blessing. She lights up like the sun before rushing out to pack her belongings. She's not going to live in China, just like my half sister, which she left to China during the beginning of that war that I mentioned numerous times. Call a guru. Jain guru. Maybe help him get rid of those two vices. If not, then I'll join the Sravaka Samga once I'm done training my son to be an excellent squire in his own right. Yes, I did spend a lot of money, but it was a small price to pay to get a wise old man. Alright, thank you. It's going to take a lot. Yeah, he may not like me because... Yeah, Banacom is just one thing. We have religious differences, but humiliated close kin, which I am very sorry. Just only a couple of minor depopulations. The wise guru Periyapillai has agreed to come take up residence. Genius, scholar, patient. Uh-huh. Look at that. I got something for you. Normally I would just keep up with purity, but I believe it's good enough. Just want you to research cultural tech because there is a 6% chance yearly that you may find a great philosopher, which would help you up your cultural bonuses. Need more money. Gee, it's a lot going on. Me and my retainers come across a small monastery in the countryside. I've heard of its library and would like to acquire a book from them. The monk tells you that they would be happy to give you one for a fee. Don't want to be doing that. Just give me a book. Brahma Sutras. The Brahma Sutras is a Sanskrit text attributed to Badarayana. I may be pronouncing it wrong, but still. The text systemizes and summarizes the philosophical and spiritual ideas in the Upanishads, and it primarily concentrates on the nature of human existence and the concept of ultimate reality. So that's how many books I've got? 7. And this is a learning book, which is just up to my learning skill. Almost there to 700. A group of craftsmen has come to court and shown off their work. They're presenting of fine goods, of which I'm sure there will be a demand for the realm. Noticing my interest, the craftsmen seem that they ask for some capital to start up a workshop, saying they like the funds to do it their own. Small price to pay, but I'll do it. We'll get there soon enough. Be patient. Oh no, he's dead. I thought he left the courts because I remember seeing him that he's the heir of whatnot. Thakur of Kongu. Oh, you're married to her. Once you have children, that means you are going to inherit this part. What a broken up kingdom. Built up the war chest. Now good. Now spend it on something. We'll be in peace for the next 5 years since I ain't gonna do any much wars. But we can continue building up the levies. But what I prefer is building more ships. Because when my son, who is to be a Hindu, matter of fact, he remains Hindu, we'll have more ships. More ships means holds more gold. When do overseas looting. That'll happen during the reign of Parantaka II. Picked up Uridite. Useful trait to have when I join the Savaka Samga in the future. Near future. Because he's almost an accomplished squire. He's picked up diligent and did not pick up stressed. You are definitely ready, my son. Yeah, sure. Maybe after... I mean, mind you, when my son goes... Oh, hold on. The Zhao Empire is a fascinating place, my lord. Aluvanai says, and as I turn the foreign coins over onto my hand, she arrived this morning. And besides the obvious souvenirs, she comes carrying many a tale from her travels. Everyone in the castle wants to know everything. Bear with us, Aluvanai, as my scribes collect all your stories. She didn't become patient. I got all the good graces. Let me see here. Huh. A figurine of Zalzu of Jurchde. A small figurine depicting the former Emperor of China. Though small, it has intricate details and shows great craftsmanship. You know, in the future, I thought about subjugating this area. Tell you what, it'll happen in the future. Like, once this whole ambition expires by 842, I will fight a war. Subjugate this line. Which, of course, by that time, it will happen in the next episode. I became just. That's how I feel. When I, did these executions against those criminals who killed my brother. Again, there's too many duchies thing. I will not give away Chola. It will happen during the reign of Parantaka, especially when he has many children. Then he will give away one of his future children, Chola's children too, that they'll be running Charanadu. Vikramâtitâ. Oh wow. Holy warrior. Ooh, it's quick. Shoot. Vikramâtitâ, the wisest of us all. And also a holy warrior. Yeah, we'll know who to replace. You are definitely in the army of Tamilakam. Should we choose to intervene in future conflicts like the realms of Rajputana and Gujarat, they've been split. While pondering over the guest list, what if I should invite one of my friends, my sister? One would think if they ever get into trouble, we can intervene. I've rushed around trying to get everyone to work harder, not smarter to get everything ready for the banquet. When the guests started arriving, I waited patiently for Olive and I. But I still did my best to make sure every guest felt welcome, found its designated place at my table. She told me how glad my invitation has made her. Good. Oh, man. Remember, you've been around since the days of that war. You're a war veteran who is not only has cancer, which he's had everywhere, but also consumption and severe illness. And you're still alive. Well, your brilliant strategist and Dinglebar Jain's probably kept you alive as much as it could. In a successful treatment. Discouraged from factionalism, he felt. There could be no tension here. She's all grown up now, but she dislikes me because of abducted relative, which I would apologize for. Just want to simply ask you how you're doing. I'll sway her later. Trying to improve relations to her. As I said, trying to get all the vassals positive by the time it's 840. Make it primogeniture, so that realms cannot split again. But I'll continue swaying the king of the Kalingas. Maharaja is the king. Maharaja? Raja. I guess. She asks forgiveness. Good on you. One more time, one last military training. Don't want to be the greatest fighter where I could be, ranking up. I never attend that. That will happen with the next ruler. What is going on down there? Revolt war for someone's kingdom's claim. Wants to be the Maharaja. Not many troops. It ain't my business. Oh yeah, lots of ships. Where we can ferry our entire army over to overseas expeditions. Or a quick way to travel if we were to go places like Kalinga, or the Bengal, to the Indus, or even parts of the Arabian Peninsula and Socotra too. Especially Socotra. Doing that again. Got rid of the craven trait. You're 14. Why didn't we have this before? It's going to take 2 years to build. Because since we're more focused on money these days. Take a drink. Now he's reached the top tier. Accomplished squire. Prince or Rajkumar Parantakan. Parantaka. He spent all his childhood spare time learning about warfare, making him very proficient in the subject at the cost of his general direct education. He could join a holy order or a fighter's guild, since it's not the holy order era yet. So he could definitely be part of fighter's guild. And look, up the health too, in addition of his combat skill. My work here is done. I will leave the society, and I will join us Shavaka Samga in January of next year. That was the intentionism. My age during my stay at Chola Mandalam, I found a great philosopher whose degree helped me with my studies to enhance culture in the county. With your permission, I would suggest that we employ him. Ooh, that's a big spin, but this is why. 50 cultural technology points. Which one day we will try to up on the tolerance to increase the status of women, so women can be spy masters here. Instead of your mother or your wives to be spy masters as an option. Cannot help but overhear the stable master and the courtiers animated discuss something about a horse and a payment due today, but the courtier insists on paying the stable master later that week. Oh, that guy. I settled the matter between Uttida and the stable master. Try to set cool. They still won't speak to each other. Uh-huh. Because I am just. Now, China is in civil war. Because of this, Silk Road profits are halved, and the tributary states could break away. Ah, great. Just when I was trying to improve the economy here after that disease. And plus we may lose all great... Oh, not again. Consumption is back! Not again. And it started here in Cholamandalam. Huh. Yeah, this again. Maharaja gets the peasants of forbidden silk goods to the city walls. Look, I had to do it. Increase the city tax. Now it's time for me to join him. Sravaka Sangha. Wait a minute, did it say I have to give away a lot of money? Yes, I'm a lay member. If again, you are the leader of that society. Too bad my father never was, but he was a great man nonetheless. I'm sure you remember him fondly. It was a great honor, our child. I am kind and chaste, but unfortunately, cynicism and I cannot be cruel and possess at least one virtue. That's one thing. We could try to get rid of these, because if I want to become a Muni, I got to get rid of my cynicism. Interestingly, deceitful is not one of the traits that would prevent you from becoming a Muni. Interesting. Aye. Once she turns 16, that's when I will abdicate. But there's still much more work to be done, including the disease of tuberculosis has returned. Pirates have been marauding in increasing numbers all along the coast of the Chola Kingdom recently. Worse, there's a rumor amongst the common folk that the pirates are being aided by Kalinga Ganga agents. I must send a letter to the Kalinga Raja and find out if it is so. Dang nabbit. Oh, not again. Crave it again. Maharaja Vikramâtittâ, I must say I do not approve the tone of your last letter. Accusing others to try to obscure your own failings in keeping your realm safe only leaves you looking like a soft jester. I wish you a speedy recovery from your paranoia. What you should have also written, I wish you have a speedy recovery of your realm from this disease, which has stricken Tamilakam again. And the population hasn't recovered. Oh dear, I should try to repair this. Answer soothingly. Trying to be the man of peace here. Trying to follow my father's footsteps. At least a little. Lamentably, your words of apology do not ring true. I am no fool, and a trust that has been broken cannot be repaired with mere empty words. I cannot maintain under a pact of such circumstances with scant pleasure. Very well, it must be so. Pact is broken. You know, I rescued your kinswoman. Well, actually, she still resides over there, but one would think she chose to live there. It was her decision, too. He says, okay, your sister can go, so can your wife, but I will stay here. Maybe she doesn't want to move back to the Kalinga. There's a faint knock on my door, followed by a small figure peeking into the room. I remember him well. It's one of the craftsmen that I found a couple of years ago. He shamefully tells you that the enterprise didn't go exactly as planned, and that workshop is now bankrupt with nothing to show for it. Bad investment. You could say, look, this post-war period is just not well. Speaking of my wife, she's still around? She got better from her consumption, but since it's coming back to Congo, which is where she lives, in there, so in that area somewhere, she's probably going to get it again if she's not careful. A friend and a rival. How did she make a rival out of a member of the Swaga Sangha? That's rather odd. You're supposed to say, hey, people aren't supposed to fight. By the way, is she still Sravaka? Yeah, still is. Hope we'll meet one day. All the young Sravakas. Well, some are young. Must be the youthfulness, such that that's what's causing fighting amongst each other. Okay, once this disease blows over and open the gates, then switch to Promgen. Well, no. Look, we're gonna revoke her, right? Got no other choice. Not right now, just wait until the disease is gone. It's whatever, he's just a mayor. It's not like he's gonna kill me or anything. I'm sure I'm gonna pick up a fat trait for this. Yeah, the post-war period, as that's what I'm calling it at this time, as I have been already. It was just a period of, well, it's sad to see it's just sad, alright? The 30s, you could say, was not a good time. Oh, not again. Would my paranoia prevent me from becoming a Muni? No, it doesn't. But, however, if you are paranoid, it can lead to lunatics. Not again. But anyways, make it so. We're gonna do this again until whoever comes in to get the heck out of here. What are you doing? Get back here. Stop that. You're making it worse as it is. Maharaja. No. Maharaja the recluse. Gardener. What do you have to say? Let me guess. Lover of the court. Lover of the court. No. Get out. Oh, here we go again. Like in the middle of the night to the loud clamoring down a corridor. Outside my room, the shadows of pitchforks paint the walls, and I hear screaming. I close the door behind me. How do these peasants get in? The tunnel should be secure. My mare should have had them expected. Guards to arms. I grab my weapon in the darkness to face the peasants. Unlike my father, well, I'm craven, so there's a chance I may get hurt. I got my body armor, and I got my trident. If I get killed, it could be a potential loss as far as the law is concerned. But as for my son, well, you're going to become a man next year. To arms. This scheming lurker had let it somehow smash through the rebels, you think. During the chaos they called for over and over. Maharaja the recluse, the chaos was everywhere. Even though my guards handled the peasant soldiers well enough, and the injuries are felt on my side as well. This is awful. In the chaos, she made a stealthy getaway while I'm injured for life. Excruciating pain is shooting through my whole body, originating from the stump where my leg used to be. Now I'm one-legged. Not good. Yeah, not good at all. Now I'm one-eyed and I'm one-legged. One would think, well, he's a pirate now. You know, the same ones that are raiding our coast. I was attending prayer one morning and noticed my brother was drowsing off at his seat. Well, meanwhile, the fellow members of the Sraga Sangha are deep in contemplation and do not seem to notice him. I ought to wake him before he comes in. Jennifer said, "Oh, I could get no reaction." Then I shoved my elbow to his side, causing him to cough and open his eyes, a flash of anger in them. His face turns red as he blinks. Situation stoning on him. "Thank you," he mumbles sheepishly. "Where are you from, by the way?" "I know you're a good drunk." "Think nothing of it, friend." Oh, boy. If I die from my injuries, I'll accept, because it's about 3 men. If I survive, well then, more work for the clergy. If you want to rank up fast, charity work. Just a little bit of devotion. And I become charitable. See? I'm trying to be a better person. I think we'll close that up. I was about to say we'll close that up some on that note, but Sakurani declared war. What war? It says to claim that Anavasa. Oh, whatever it is. Okay. 840, remember. So we're just gonna stop right here. Yeah, the post-war period continues, but there's still much more work to do, as I will try to become an ascetic and abdicate early on, and my son can begin his reign in his younger years, but it can only happen if my youngest daughter. So we got 6 years. We got 6 years until abdication. Countdown's begun. There's some work in the realm to be done, as well as ranking up a bit, which it says to be a Muni, in order to abdicate. You gotta be at least rank 2 in that particular society. All that, as well as the missions that whichever they'll give me. So we hope to see you in the next episode. Till then, so long for now.